Let's go back to our presentation. At this point, you're probably wondering, Dale, so now that I know how to set task types, how do I actually know which type to use and when? So let me give you some recommendations on using task types. EPMA recommends that you use the fixed units task type when you're assigning a resource to a task and that resource has a known availability to be able to work on tasks in your project. For example, let's say you assign a resource to work on a task with a units value of 50% because you know that that resource is also working half-time providing user support. Well, in a scenario like that, you would want to use the fixed units task type to guarantee that Microsoft Project will never change the units value if you change either the work or the duration values on the task. You want the units to stay 50%. You don't want the software changing it against your will. Your second task type is fixed work, and EPMA recommends that you set the task type option to fixed work when you're certain about the number of hours it will take to complete a task. For example, let's say you hire a consultant to work on a task in your project. The work amount is set to 40 hours by a contract. Your company has signed the contract, the other person or the other company has signed the contract, so that consultant is going to work 40 hours on that task. They're not going to volunteer and do 48. They're not going to cut back and try to get by with only doing 32. You know that the work will be 40 hours on that task. So in this case, you use the fixed work task type to guarantee that Microsoft Project will never recalculate the work value if you change either the units or the duration values on the task. You want the work to be locked, so you use the fixed work task type so the work will not change. And then your third option, fixed duration. EPMA recommends that you set the task type to fixed duration when you know the task has a certain window of opportunity, a known duration value that will not change. For example, let's say you have a task called Annual Shareholder Conference. And that conference will last for 2 days. I can guarantee you it will not take 3 days. It will not finish in a day and a half. That shareholder conference will take exactly 2 days. So in a situation like that, EPMA recommends that you use the fixed duration task type so that you guarantee the software will not change your duration value if you change either the units or work values on the task. You want the duration to be locked so the duration will not change.